Good Shabbos to everyone. Good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom. This is for the Shabbat of 8 ER, which is April 25th this year. The parasha is Aharei Mot Kedoshim. Aharei Mot is a very familiar passage, the beginning of it, because it is the liturgical reading that we do on Yom Kippur. It describes the Yom Kippur service in the Mishkan, which is the tabernacle, the portable tabernacle that the Israelites used for something like 240 years, beginning in their sojournings in the wilderness. So the Torah, this parasha begins with one of the 613 commandments as enumerated by the Rambam, and it says, "Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe Aharei Mot Shnei bnei Aharon." So Hashem spoke to Moshe after the deaths of the two sons of Aharon, "Bekorvatam lifnei Adonai vayamutu," in their drawing close to before the presence of Hashem, and they died. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, daber el Aharon achicha, va'al yavo b'chol eit, el hakodesh mibeit la parochet. And Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to your brother Aharon, and tell him that Aharon, or any priest, high priest, should not come just any old time into the sacred precincts that are mibeit la parochet, that are within the curtain inside the Kodesh. El pnei hakaporet asher al ha'aron, in the space that is before the Ark of the Covenant, the Aron HaKodesh, because it says ki be'anan, lest, and if you do this at any old time or the wrong time, it says it's a warning, don't come in at any old time, v'lo yamut, so that you don't die. And then it says ki be'anan era'eh, because I appear, or maybe I speak from the top of the cover of the Aron HaKodesh. It says al hakaporet, ki be'anan era'eh al hakaporet. Then the next verse says, "Bizot yavo Aharon el hakodesh." With this, Aharon shall enter into the sacred area. Befar ben bakar lachata'at va'aya la'olah. So, he will come in with a bull for the herd of purgation, and a bull for of the herd for a purgation offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. The phrase "bezot yavo Aharon el hakodesh" is interesting. It literally means, with this, Aharon shall come into, or the high priest succeeding Aharon will come into the Kodesh with a bull, and with a ram. Now, literally, they don't walk into that space with the bull and the ram. They bring some of the blood of those creatures into the Kodesh HaKodashim in order to atone for any impurities of the sanctuary, and also the whole rite, as we know, atones for the sins of the people. There are aspects of our davening and the discipline of davening that are derived from passages about the Mishkan, including this one. So, as individual daveners, we go into, so to speak, when we're praying, we go into the Holy of Holies, into the most sacred place. We become the priest going into the most sacred place, where the Aron HaKodesh sits, and when we go in there, it says, don't just go in there any old time. You know, there are particular times when we enter into prayer, and the times are important. Each moment of the day is ascribed a particular kind of characteristic. A kind of door is opened, a unique door is opened at different times of the day and throughout the year. So we want to align our prayers with those times of day. So then, and when it says bezot bezot yavo Aharon, then when it says, with this you shall enter into the Holy of Holies, we understand bezot from Kabbalah, and then many Hasidic writers have spoken about it as well, that bezot is a word that indicates, which means with this, which indicates the Shekhinah, which indicates the presence of God, or in another way, it indicates the world. It indicates the totality of life on earth. So, for example, I've spoken before about how there's a saying that any prayer that is not uttered for the sake of the Shekhinah is not considered a prayer, which is to say that when we walk into the prayer space, we are bringing the world with us. We're bringing zot, this, with us. So bizot means with the Shekhinah, with the world, you enter into the prayer. My teacher and friend, Rabbi Rami Afal, he has a beautiful way of speaking about how you pour your emotions into the words of the prayer. So when you step into the Amidah, there are all these words that are prescribed for us to recite. When we step in, we can use those prayers to pour our emotions, to pour our feelings into the prayer. So when we say, and that it may evoke surprising emotions. So when you, for example, come to a prayer about asking for the Creator to bring the right amounts of rain and dew to the whole world, so that all life can be sustained, you might, on that particular day, come in with an amount of with some sadness or some concern, because you know there are places, maybe even the place you live, is experiencing either way too much rain or far too little rain. So then you pour your feelings into those words. You use the words to express your feelings. That means sometimes that you might be actually using the words with some amount of anger in your voice, or irony even. So the idea, though, that's taught by many of our spiritual teachers is that it is very important that one way to, maybe the primary way of entering to prayer, is to bring what is here into prayer, bring it with you. So whatever is on your mind, on your heart that day, bezot yavo Aharon, so that with that you come into the space of the Holy of Holies and pray from within that space. This is a pretty deep allegory to what's happening in the Yom Kippur service, because the Aharon is carrying in blood of these animals, and through his ritual, he is, these animals are very worldly creatures. He's bringing blood, which is the stuff of life. He's bringing that into the Holy of Holies, and through the ceremony that he performs there, relationships are restored. There's a sort of, some people say, a sort of the slate is wiped clean. That is to say, the relationships and the possibility of creating the conditions which foster life are sort of, there's a reset, so we get to start over. So this is what is happening on a level. Whenever we step in, we take those 3 steps in to pray, we are stepping into Kodesh HaKodeshim. And from this teaching about Aharon, not coming just at any old time, and also thinking about what Aharon brings with him into the Holy of Holies, is instructive to us as daveners to learn and to practice. When we step into prayer, we bring the world with us. We bring zot, all of this, with us. Shabbat shalom, everyone.